This week we're looking at Genesis chapter 2, this second sort of zoomed in account of creation. And yesterday we noted that both at the beginning of Exodus and at the end of the book of Revelation, before sin and after sin, the idyllic setting is described using the imagery of a garden. And this becomes a model for what other biblical writers will refer to as well. So today we move on. I want to begin reading with verse 15. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to take care of it. And the Lord God commanded the man, "You're free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat of the tree of the knowledge. You must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat of it, you will certainly die." So, few things to notice here. As I said, this Genesis, especially Genesis 1 through 3, 4 through 11, just sort of confirms that the fall that happened in chapter 3 is really bad and that we're not able to save ourselves. But this whole section is just so full of the first unfolding of ideas and doctrines and major themes. So there's a few to notice right away. Adam is given an assignment. He's given purpose. So he's in the garden, pre-sin. The garden is wonderful, but Adam is working. So there's a lot of people that think that work is a result of the fall. No. There's a curse on work. Work is harder. Work doesn't work like we would like it to work. But work is a good thing. Having a purpose, having a meaning, having a direction is a good thing. Sitting around on clouds, eating grapes, and playing the harp is not anybody's idea. Certainly not my idea of how I'd like to spend even an afternoon, let alone forever. So, we try, by the way, in the Lakelight Institute, we are trying to develop that. Lakelight has 3 big themes. One is just sort of a deeper discipleship, biblical understanding. There's that track. And the third we talk about is sort of public theology and discussions about big topics and how they're intersecting with life broadly. But the second one is vocational discipleship, how we are to understand our assignment as a teacher or a doctor or a journalist or whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you're working in horticulture, maybe you're working in food preparation, whatever. All these things can be good, and they're an opportunity for us to serve others and to use the gifts that God has given us. And so we want to celebrate work. A second thing to see here, and I suspect you've seen it, I don't know whether or not you fully understood it, but it's just, you read about the tree and then we've got the Apple logo, right? Which is an apple, right? So I'm talking about the high-tech company, Apple, and the logo for Apple is an apple with a bite out of it, right? Sort of an act of defiance, an act of rebellion, and it's sort of in your face. I'm being told not to do this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be our own power. We're going to use our own, we're going to use technology. We're going to build a world that works for us. So what I'd like to just step back and note is when we look at the creation account, we see a lot of direction and boundaries and guidelines. There's boundaries between day and night. There's boundaries between the river and the banks. There's boundaries between what Adam is allowed to do. And all of this speaks to the idea of freedom. So Apple being very much a 21st century company, there's this idea of unlimited opportunities. We can do anything, be anything. And I think that what the Bible is going to argue, and I actually would argue that this is what life is going to teach us, is that we are most free when we are doing what we're created to do. And the train, old imagery, but the train is free to jump the tracks, but the train is not going to be a functioning train when it jumps the tracks. And the same kinds of things is being developed here in these first chapters of Genesis. Have a good day.